Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back. Football is also back. We are here to preview the FA Cup quarter-final tie, Preston North End against Aston Villa. And joining me from his mansion with his grand piano behind him, George. How you doing, mate? Great to see you.
Hello, Rich. Yes, mate. Yeah, I'm good. Hello, everyone. The piano's a nice touch, and I'm down in my luxury residence for this weekend.
Good to have you on, mate. But yeah, we're here to preview Preston against Aston Villa, a quarter-final of the FA Cup, George. And I think we mentioned this on the fans forum the other night that it's almost uncharted territory for Aston Villa being in the FA Cup this late in the season.
Yeah, it's not often we get this far, is it? You know, we're used to the old third round exits to it doesn't really matter what division they're in. We'll normally lose it, won't we? So nice to get through to, what do I always say? Do ourselves justice in the season, get as far as you can in each competition, and we're making a good fist of it this year. And getting a championship team in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. I mean, you're not really going to get a better chance, are you?
Exactly, and I was going to touch on that point. Is that would you suggest that this is the silly? I guess it's at risk of being a silly question, but I guess it is a banana skin tie as well. But you'd have to say that out of all of the teams and all of the ties that could be drawn, this is the best opportunity. This is the best one. This is the one that all the Premier League teams would have wanted.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's an easy game or given by any means. I mean, we've been upset plenty of times before over the years, but most of the teams that are left in the comp are all sort of in and around us in the league, and the obvious standout one is Preston. Mid-table championship team. What more could you ask for? You've just got to do your job and try and get through it.
Exactly. Now, there was a stat there that they are very strong at home, and it's something like, is it 14 or 15 games unbeaten at home?
Wow,
so, on that sense, they will fancy their chances. And like you said there, to take a scalp of a Premier League side in the FA Cup, and for them themselves, maybe in mid-table in the Championship, not necessarily got a playoff push to contend with, it's kind of a shot to nothing for them as well. Massive opportunity for them.
Yeah, of course, mate. They've got absolutely nothing to lose going into this game. Big home crowd behind them. I'm sure they'll all turn up for this one. Big occasion for Preston. I've sort of seen I know they've got a poor record against Premier League teams in the Cup, which most Championship teams probably have. But, from their point of view, they'll be licking their lips and looking forward to this one. So, as I said, we've just got to be professional and, and do our bit and get ourselves through to Wembley.
Exactly. So, I was hoping that we'd have had Unai Emery's press conference by now, but I think as he usually is a little bit late. But we've seen the Villa players coming back to fitness. Ollie Watkins has been in full training back at Bodymoor Heath. He didn't go to Dubai for that training camp, but we talked about this again on the fans forum that having these players back fit is huge for this run-in and for all of these games on all the different fronts. So to have an almost, I guess, full squad quota to choose from is huge for Unai Emery, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely massive for us because this is like the key part of the season now. And, and we're usually out on our feet, especially last season we were by March. So to have pretty much everyone back fit is, it's a godsend for us, isn't it? And like I did say the other night, we've got some options now. If we want to rest a couple of the players that have overdone it this season and played a lot of minutes, we've got a pretty decent squad. I mean, I know you can't go sort of taking the piss and just putting Tom, Dick and Harry in, but we've got good players and good options that have not played that many games. So you probably could change 3 or 4 here and still probably get a sort of a decent performance, you'd like to think.
Yeah, and do you anticipate that, like with regards to, we went through the fixture list that we've got over the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks, and it is pretty crazy. Do you anticipate a changed team to what will play on Sunday to then what will play on Wednesday? Unai has always talked about kind of just focusing on the game in hand, but do you think that he will have an eye on Brighton on Wednesday, Nottingham Forest the following Saturday, Paris Saint-Germain the following Wednesday? Do you see that, or do you think you just take each game as it is?
I'm sure he'll have a good look on it. I mean, luckily the timing of this one has come quite good, hasn't it? We've just come off an international break. I know a lot of players have probably played some games, but probably not at the same intensity as when the Premier League season's going. Plus the ones that have not gone on international duty. So he probably could play his first team here, but with the options we've got, I mean, this is what you have a big squad for, is for to get to this stage of the season and be in tournament still and be able to rotate. So I think there'll be 2 or 3 at least changes here from what we see every week.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, those changes are pretty strong. You talk about maybe Garcia in for Cash. Pau Torres is back fit. Does he get some minutes? He's obviously a fantastic footballer. Even a Lamar Bogard, but I don't necessarily think he would feature. Leon Bailey or Daniel Marlon coming in. That's really strong. Jacob Ramsey coming in. Then you've got the likes. Then you've got, do you play Asensio? Do you play Rashford? These choices he's got. It's horses for courses, but it's not really sort of diminishing the quality of the actual 11. If Tielemans drops out and has a rest, Onana's coming in. It's still high quality, isn't it? Whoever comes in, as you touched on before.
Yeah, this is what we've been striving for, haven't we? This is the squad Unai's tried to build, and he's got that decent squad now. But it's all good and well, sort of looking at the squad on paper and looking at the team and thinking, "Oh, look at the depth we've got." It hasn't always worked out like that this year, has it? And we've still had some beatings. So you've just got to go out and get the job done, and sort of not take it easy or take it for granted.
Exactly. Whoever's on the pitch needs to put it in and put in 100%, play to their best, and they win. And they're paid good wages to do that, as you well know, George.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. Yeah, it's all like the Onanas of this world. Been sort of glorified cheerleaders most of the season. So get out and get out and do the business, mate. Earn your money.
Exactly. Now, with regards to kind of approach to the game, it's difficult to kind of say exactly what without sort of knowing the status of the squad, I would suggest. But how would you suggest Unai is going to approach this difficult team to play against, in terms of, like I've said, they haven't really got anything to lose. You're away from home at a championship club. They'll want to give their fans something to shout about. How would you kind of approach it if you were Unai Emery, in terms of the general sort of setup of the team and the outlook?
Well, the away form this year on the whole has not been very good, in all honesty, has it? And we've all been banging the drum about this controlled possession away from home, this slow build, and that. Again, that's not worked a lot of the time, and I don't think it'll work here, because I can, without watching Preston a lot, I could see them being blood and thunder and wanting to get stuck into us as their best chance of winning the game. So I think we've got to sort of, use Rashford, use our pace on the counter, sort of just play a bit more sensible rather than try and tippy-tappy away across the field, because it only takes a couple of big crunching tackles to get the Deepdale crowd up, and we've gone into our shells many times this season, and, there's every chance that could happen again. So, yeah, I just think Unai will get the right plan. But yeah, just that away performance that we used to have, I always bang on about this. When he first come, that was how you play away games. And for some reason, we went away from that. But when we do go back to that, it works. I mean, look at the Bruges game the other day, for a prime example.
Yeah, well organised, difficult to break down, hard to get through, and always a danger on the counter.
Let the quality shine through eventually. You don't have to try and dominate 90 minutes of the game.
Yeah. And also what's tended to work over the last few weeks is that longer direct ball. We've got the pace of Rashford in behind. We've got Ollie Watkins, 60, 70 minutes plus into a game when he's ran the centre-backs into the ground and they're starting to tire. You've got Morgan Rogers who can cover distance with the ball, or Jacob Ramsey the same covering distance with the ball, you've potentially got Leon Bailey to play the first 60, 65 minutes and then bring Marlon on to exploit the space. So there's lots of things that you can do to kind of get the ball forward quicker, whether that be by a long ball or be via less passes through midfield to really penetrate against those teams. So yeah, I absolutely agree. It's like being more organised and being difficult to break down, but obviously knowing that at the right times you can play that longer direct ball in behind, and that can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, just give them something to think about rather than trying to walk the ball into the net, because we've seen many frustrating performances this season where teams just sit back and let us play and play and play and play, and because we're so slow at doing it, we're easy to defend against. So yeah, I just think just try a different option.
Yeah. Now I've looked at Preston's side. Obviously, I know they've got a good home record, and we've obviously got Kessler Hayden, who's on loan there for the season. He's not gonna be able to feature for them in this game against his parent club, I believe. Their main striker is a player called Jakobsen. He seems to have 10 goals, 2 assists. Emil Reese Jakobsen. Don't know a huge amount about him. Has 44 goals in 177 games for Preston. But I guess they're a team that is going to be more about the collective and have, hopefully have that surprise factor to contend with against Aston Villa, aren't they? Where they'll probably try and start quite quickly and then maybe stay in the game. See if they could get 1-0 up and then sort of stay in the game, or if Villa go 1-0 up, try and just keep organised and try and do something right at the end of the game to keep themselves in it, aren't they? They're going to try and sort of balance it in terms of the waves of, the moments that they might be able to capitalise on it in the game, being that sort of lower league side against, Champions League opposition, let's say.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're not going to be able to come out and dominate us, are they? It's not going to happen, and they'd be silly to probably think it would. But yeah, you've just got to sort of be wary of, like you say, that fast start, and they'll just make it hard for us, try and get in our face, play it fast, long balls, aerial battles and stuff like that. And we've just got to be sort of strong and wise to it, and try and, if they don't get through us in the first 20 minutes, that big atmosphere you've got slowly sort of dies away, doesn't it, a little bit? And and eventually you just try and get through them, and sort of, we've got lots of good players, lots of good options. If things are not working out for us after an hour, you could change 5 subs and bring on some top quality players. So, you'll obviously make us not hot favourites for the game, but most definitely favourites.
Yeah, strong favourites, I would say.
Yeah,
they've beaten Charlton and they've beaten Burnley. I'm just trying to see who else they beat.
Wickham, I think, was the other one, mate.
On Wickham, right?
On
so
penalties.
They haven't, on penalties. So, like you said, we're the first sort of Premier League opposition they've come up against. Obviously, good result against Burnley. I'll be interested to see whether Burnley made many changes, because obviously they're pushing for promotion to the Premier League. But yeah, this is a real stiff test for them, and we've got to make sure that we show it's a stiff test for them. I've just seen that John Townley's reported that Ross Barkley won't feature for Villa at Preston, but Emery is hopeful that the midfielder will return to training today, tomorrow, or on Monday. So that's great, and we don't have any other injuries at this stage.
Lovely.
So
nice to hear.
that is a really, really important point and a big squad that you can announce. I mean, there's probably 2 or 3 really, really good players that won't be in the squad. And that's interesting. I mean, whether the likes of Leon Bailey might not feature, being as though he's been away in Jamaica for international duty, he might be sort of rested from the squad. I don't think Emi Martinez will, but those sort of players that maybe had sort of difficult international breaks or long travel might be sort of rested. Who knows?
Yeah.
Obviously, Disasi's not able to feature because he played for Chelsea, so he won't be in the squad. But yeah, I mean, think of the options that he'll have on the bench, let alone what he'll have to start this game.
Yeah, it's a good position to be in, isn't it? Simple as that. We've seen times where look at the back end of last season when we were in the Conference League, and like the 2 games against Olympiacos, and we were decimated, weren't we? We didn't do ourselves justice in that game, and we felt very hard done by, missing so many players. But hitting March this year, going into April, fully fit squad. We've got to make the most of it. We've got to make the most of it Sunday, and then we've got to try and push on and finish as strong as we can in the league as well. We've got the big games against PSG. Obviously we're sort of big outsiders for that one, but with everyone fit, mate, we've got a fighting chance.
Yeah, and this is a good game as a platform. I mean, it's 2 steps away from a final. It's 1 game away from a Wembley appearance. It's a game against a team that you will be favourites to win, and if you do win that gives real momentum following the games before the international break, going back into a really, really important Premier League period and opportunity in the Champions League. So it's a massive, massive game in terms of like potential glory, and sort of opportunity to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, it's exciting, mate. God, being still in 3 tournaments at this stage is what it's what the club wants to be, isn't it? It's what we spent all the money on. This is why you get a top class manager in Unai in to try and get this far. In years gone by, we're the sort of club that starts prioritising at this stage. I'm glad we're not doing that now. Do yourself justice in every game you play and get as far as you can. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We could lose. We could lose on Sunday. We could get beat by PSG. We couldn't make Europe, but at least you've had an honest go at the lot. Do you know what I'm saying? Rather than just sort of saying, "Oh, do you know what? We want to finish 4th, so we'll
cut all the rest out." Yeah.
Exactly.
Which we know we've done before. We know we've done before, and that isn't. Yeah, and it's not good for the supporters. It doesn't give a good mentality to the players. So yeah, like you said, go after every tournament you can, because these moments don't come around very often.
No,
so I think
love a little trip to Wembley, Rich. Again, it's been a while.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. It'd be absolutely fantastic for both, semi-final and then hopefully final.
Yeah.
Before we get a prediction up before this particular game, obviously we've got Fulham against Palace, Brighton against Forest, Bournemouth against Man City. What are your thoughts on those three games? Because they're really difficult to call, aren't they? I mean, our game, we're saying it's going to be a tough game, but those 3 are really difficult to call.
They're decent quarterfinals. Like I said before, it's most of the top 10, isn't it? Without most of the big boys, which is strange. You've got Fulham going well, Brighton going well, Forest going probably the best of the lot of us. We're in the mix still. So they're all sort of like, I wouldn't fancy being the bookies this week because they're hard to call, as you say. I think the one you want to get rid of is Man City. I mean, I know their season hasn't been what they would have wanted or anyone else would have expected, but they are the team in there that knows how to win. No one else has won nothing between us in years. They have won absolutely everything. So I would love Bournemouth to do a job on them and get rid of them, because I don't think they're the team you don't want to play still, aren't they?
Yeah. If you had to stick your neck on the line, which 4 are going to get into the semi-finals? So you got Fulham against Palace, Brighton against Forest, Bournemouth against City.
God, they're tough, aren't they? I think City will win just for all the reasons I've just said. I think we will win. The other two are tough, mate. Fulham and Palace.
Fulham are at home.
Yeah. I'll go with Fulham, but only marginally. I think that would be like a 1-goal swing either way. Go with Fulham because they're the home team. And then what is it? Forest, Brighton?
Brighton at home to Forest.
Well, Brighton are on a right good run at the moment, aren't they? I think they're 5 straight wins. But then Forest, been great away this season. So that's a tough one. I think there's goals there, though, Rich. I fancy I don't know. I reckon Forest will win that like 3-2 or something like that. It'll be a goal fest. That'll be the game of the weekend. That's my little prediction for you.
Love it. Okay, so we've gone Fulham, Forest, Man City, and you're going to say Aston Villa. So
yeah,
score prediction and scorers.
Well, I'm going to go Villa 3-1. I think it might be a difficult start, and I think we might go behind in this one. And it's a battle of character, then, isn't it? Whether you can sort of battle back from that. But I reckon, with the quality we've got from the bench, if it ain't going well, we can change it around, as I said. And I think eventually our quality will shine through. So I'll go Watkins. Sorry, what was you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, this is the reason we haven't done a predicted lineup, because it's so difficult, because he's got so many players available.
Yeah.
So
I'll throw some scorers in anyway, just for the entertainment value. We'll go Watkins, Asensio and Rashford to finally break his duck for us.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
I will go 3-0, let's say.
3-0, nice.
3-0. Marlon, Watkins, and Rodgers. Let's say those
like
three.
It,
but it could be. They might not play. So
no, exactly, mate. It could be anyone, couldn't
it? But yeah, we'll hopefully we get through. It'd be fantastic, like you said, to get to Wembley as a semi-final, and get a really good draw. That would, whoever we would face, it'd be a tough game in the next round should we get through this one. And it's a fantastic opportunity to get a trophy in the cabinet, to get European football secured for next season, and then really, really give us a platform to push on in the league and the Champions League. So there's so many reasons why it's so important to win this game. So, and also I think had this been within the confines of the in the middle of a Premier League battle of various fixtures, Champions League fixtures, it could have been one that Unai Emery says, do you know what? We'll maybe sacrifice this, or we'll maybe make some changes, or maybe this one is more important than this game. But because it's after a break and it's the first one before the rest of the games, I think this makes it as more important because it's getting back into the swing of things. It's the players, the manager will be chomping at the bit to get a game going, won't he? So that's why it's so important.
Yeah, exactly. As I said that earlier, didn't I? The game's coming at a good time for us, and probably not the best time for Preston from Preston's perspective. So yeah, we can throw the eggs all into this basket for now and worry about the others when they come.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Brilliant, George. Hopefully, like I said, we get that victory. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are we going to get through? Are we going to win? Scorers. And yeah, you're 4 that are going to get through into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll be back with a match reaction after the game, hopefully successful. We'll hopefully be back with Talking Tactics with Gareth. I know he's had a few technical problems with his laptop. Hopefully we'll be back next week, and we'll have fans forum, match previews galore, because football is well and truly back next week. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for joining, George. Get back to your mansion, enjoying your pints of beer on a Friday afternoon as well. And and don't forget, people, clocks go forward, Mother's Day, all that jazz, as well as Aston Villa. Thank you all for watching, and as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.